We want to welcome you all out to our meeting of the Board of Commissioners. Today is Tuesday, the second day of February of 2016. It's been a busy week and a snowy week. We're about normal as far as our snowpack this year, believe it or not. It's kind of what it's supposed to be. We're not much over, but with the last 4 or 5 years that we've had drought conditions, it feels a little bit strange out there, but we're excited to have some good skiing weather and some good moisture to fill up our reservoirs for the year. We'll begin our meeting today by first hearing an invocation by Ricky Hatch, Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Bell, and Thought of the Day by Commissioner Bell. Mr. Hatch.
Our kind Father in heaven, we come before Thee and honor Thee and ask for Thy guidance this day. In this meeting, and we are grateful for the government that has been set up by the people and with Thine assistance. And we pray that as we discuss matters of importance to the citizens of Weber County, that our minds will be enlightened with eternal principles of truth. And we pray that as we make these decisions and receive input from citizens and other individuals, that we can collect those and evaluate them appropriately using these principles. We recognize Thy hand in this great country and in the affairs of the world, and pray for those who are suffering under oppression and heartache and sorrow. And we say this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So I got a couple of thoughts here as I've been thinking about different things. And so the first one is, nothing is so contagious as enthusiasm. And if you want to be enthusiastic, you need to act enthusiastic. And then I've got one other little one. It says, I have found that if you love life, life will love you back. So there you go.
True, Commissioner. Well done. All right, before we move into our consent items, I wanted to just make you aware of a recent award that we received here in the county. And I wanted Jared Anderson, our county engineer, to come on up to the microphone and tell us about this. In fact, I'm going to show this for the camera and read it just real quickly. But Jared, if you'll come grab it from me as well, and then you can hold it up, and, well, you just tell us about it from the podium. That's fine. This is the 2015 Award of Excellence presented by the Associated General Contractors of Utah regarding our county project out at the Little Weber Diversion Cutoff Channel. So Jared, will you tell us about this and how this was earned and what it might mean for us?
In 5 minutes?
As long as you would like.
This
all day.
has been a long process. You know, it really started back when the floods happened in 2011, and a lot of people everybody, I would say, in the area were nervous and figuring out what we needed to do and how we needed to make things work. And I think from the county perspective, we really needed, of any time, we just needed money to do what we could do to fix this and to mitigate. We're never going to stop flooding from happening, but to help mitigate it and help those residents in the future. So I guess the very first thing we've got to thank would be NRCS for really stepping up and saying, and through the federal government, and saying we see a need here, and given those monies that they did. I know it's been expressed many times from this podium of the monies, but we could go. I can't remember exactly what they were, but I believe it was 13 million, and then some matching funds in there. But to see that amount of money given to Weber County, I've been told anyways that we haven't seen those amount of monies given to the county. So This little Weber diversion channel was the biggest project that we had of all the projects that we worked on. Most money went to that, and really through NRCS, through looking at that and evaluating what can we do that would really help relieve this area, relieve the residents from the flooding in the future. This was the biggest thing we could do, was to get this channel constructed and done to relieve the pressure on the banks down there. It was collaborative, lot of entities involved, state entities, DNR, DWR, the county, the local cities, just a lot of people that collaborated to say, okay, what can we do with this? How are we going to be able to regulate it? So it's just, it was a really good thing to actually see it happen. As you can see on the award there, contractor, Whitaker Construction, design engineer, Bolin Collins, construction manager, Caldwell Richard Swanson. We just had a lot of people that came together to really make this happen. When you go out there currently, there's no water in it. It's a big channel, very big channel. But for those who have been out there when it's flooded, they know that is needed in times of flooding. As we mentioned a little bit, we've got a lot of moisture. We will be using it at the high time when the waters get up there this year. We'll be opening it up and letting the waters come through. So it's just a great thing for the community, for those who have been affected by floods over the years. I never wish for a flood, but it's really going to be exciting to see what this channel will do when floods come. It's going to really relieve that. So I don't know if I missed names. I don't know if I missed people, and you've been involved too, Commissioner. So, but it's just been a very exciting thing, and to get this award from I think it's AGC. Is that who that's from up there? So it's a great accomplishment to also get that award from that group.
And I'm not sure that we pointed out the last one that we received a little while ago that looks a lot like this that's up in our office.
So the year before, it's the same award, and the year before we also won it for the Ogden-based structures that we worked on. So 2 years running. I don't know if we'll get a third year running, because I don't know of a project that'll qualify, but yeah, two years running we got that same award. So, and that's for the entire state, so that's a pretty good accomplishment.
That's great. Well, we are proud and grateful of this. We'll find a place to display this prominently, and we hope that you'll pass on to all of those who have worked on this project our thanks for the quality of its design and the integrity of the structures, the way that they were built. As you said, you gave credit to the feds in this particular case, NRCS, and that is valuable. But I'll go back to the fact that I've said before from this podium, which is I can't remember ever seeing this level of collaboration. I mean, we had every partner that I can even imagine being a partner on this thing, from the state, federal, and local government levels, and private industry as well. So I just think it's been a great example of what we can do when we leverage communication and goodwill among one another, and we bring these assets together. So anyway, I'm excited, and I wanted to tell you congratulations, and hope that you'll pass that on to your team.
Definitely, we will.
Okay.
Great.
Let's give them a hand.
Thank you.
And before we go, before we move on any further, also I wanted to recognize in the audience with us Travis Campbell from Congressman Bishop's office, who is always generous to come and join us. And he's a busy man, but whenever he comes, we're always glad that he's here. And he's a quiet guy. He doesn't always say a lot, but that's okay. I think he recognizes that one of the things that he can do to help us is just to be aware of the issues that we're facing on a weekly and daily basis here in the county, and he certainly communicates those to the congressman and to the rest of the staff, and we feel that in the way that they interact with us from their office in DC, because we know that our congressman understands the things we're dealing with. So Travis, we appreciate your willingness to be here and participate in this process. Okay, we're going to move on to our consent items. Item number 1 is a request for approval of purchase orders in the amount of $187,024.38. Request for approval to ratify warrants number 400155 through 400357 in the amount of $1,427,922.93 dated January 19th of 2016.
Mine says 24,000 versus 27.
Did I say 7?
Yeah,
Okay, it's 4.
sorry.
That's okay.
I'll make that.
Thanks for pointing that out. Request for approval of warrants number 400772 through 401167 in the amount of $1,102,873.96. Request for approval of minutes for the meeting held on January 26th of 2016. Request for approval on a request to grant a deed of reconveyance to a for Parkland Business Center subdivision phases 1A and 1B. Commissioners, there's our consent items. Any questions before we go to Mr. Hatch? Okay, Ricky, anything to point out for us today?
Yeah, so for purchase orders, we had 49 this week for $187,000. It's broken out into 3 main categories. 30% or 57,000 of that amount was for the library, and it will be for maintenance, repairs, and some supplies. 26% or $48,000 is for the transfer station, and that's primarily for the household hazardous waste as well as some required groundwater testing that they do. And 27% or $50,000 is for health department, and that's to replace the roof, install a roof membrane on their building. For our check run, we had 396 checks this week for $1.1 million. 36% of that, or $393,000, was for the library construction out at the Roy headquarters building. That was just a progress payment. 10%, or $111,000, was for corridor preservation, and that went to North Ogden City. It was for the Monroe Boulevard project, coming out of the corridor preservation funds. 7%, or $83,000, was for the Weber Housing Authority, and that was housing payments and rent. And 6%, or $63,000, was for the jail, and that went to food and supplies.
Any other questions for Mr. Hatch? Comments?
I'll make a motion, we accept the consent items as read.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. Then on the floor, discussion to that motion. Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? It passes.
Can I say one thing before we get to action?
Absolutely. You bet.
I just wanted to make a note that you may not realize, but one of these commissioners up here is a superstar. That'd be Commissioner Ebert. He was in front page of the Deseret News for what he's been doing on housing and poverty. And I'm telling you, I've been here for a year now, worked with Commissioner Ebert, and he beats that drum every day. Every day he is working on that. And so grab the article. It's in the Deseret News. It was a phenomenal article. Luckily, they didn't put his picture on the front page.
That was on
But
page 16.
It was on page 16, but he was up there with the governor and the governor's State of the Union address. So there's some great things happen here in Weber County, and he brings a knowledge to this commission to help us with some of that intergenerational poverty. So take a look at it and see what's in there on it, and you'll find some good stuff on that. So
That really was a neat article.
Yep.
Well done, Commissioner.
The reality of it, it's the commission as a whole. And, it allows me to do it as part of my liaisons, but the reality of it is it's all of us. So I appreciate you pointing it out specific to me, but the reality, it's us. That's what we're trying to do. We have a strong community that's working with us. So thank you, Commissioner.
anyway,
A lot
it
of
was
good
great to
stuff
see
going
that.
on.
Thank you.
Thanks for pointing that out, Commissioner. All right, we'll move to our action items. Action item number 1 is a request for approval of a contract by and between Weber County and Animal Specialties to have the petting zoo at the 2016 Weber County Fair. And we have Jennifer Graham here. We've got both the director and the deputy assistant director. Jennifer, how do we luck out?
I don't know, but get used to it. So.
Welcome. Glad you're here.
We appreciate our directors coming, both of you out there. I see 2 of you out there.
So,
Thank you.
Good morning. So, this will be for the animal specialties to come out to the fair and provide some free entertainment for the fairgoers. This is a contract of $5,000 and is a very good value for that. So,
I'll make a motion, we accept the contract from Weber County and Animal Specialties for the Weber County Fair.
Second.
Okay, motion and second before us. Any discussion? That petting zoo is a annual big hit, isn't it?
it is,
Gotta have it.
yeah.
So, All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It's unanimous. The second item, Jennifer, for you, looks like you're presenting all three of these today. So item number 2, request for approval of a contract by and between Weber County and Wooden Creations to have chainsaw wood carvings at the fair.
Yes, and again, this is another one that provides it not only provides a free entertainment for those at the fair, because this gentleman is so interesting to sit and watch, but then we're able to turn around and sell those carvings and recoup the majority, if not all of this cost. So this is a win-win for everybody, so.
I bought more than one of those over the years.
They're so awesome. I'll make a motion, we accept the contract by and between Weber County and Wooden Creations for the county fair.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second before us. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It's unanimous. And number 3 is the approval of a contract by and between Weber County and Utah State Cutter and Chariot Association to have the State Chariot Championships of the Golden Spike on February 20th through the 21st.
Yes, and this again is a contract for, this event is, I can't even count on my fingers and toes, I think, the number of years this event has been out there, but it is a very unique event to the community. And it's pretty standard, except for the fact that we do donate the use of the exhibit hall, the conference room, and the auction arena to help this event go off and be able to keep this type of unique event at the venue. And we receive sponsorship for that, a sponsorship recognition for that. So
Good. So Jennifer, on this one, this is one that we're kind of uniquely positioned for, but of course, there's a lot of people who would like to take this piece of business from us. I know that they have the state championships and then the nationals generally here. Do we have a contract on the nationals, or is that not up this year?
the World is a 3-year contract, and this year is our third of 3, and so we will be rebidding that most likely this year for another 3 years. So
World's not the nationals, I guess.
yeah, either way.
Yeah. Anyway, that's a fun event. If you have never seen that, that's coming up. The state championships here this month. If you've never seen it, it is really worth your time to go out there and see this thing. It is hilarious. Great to watch. I mean, when I say hilarious, I mean it just takes you back in time to a time when
Yes.
where you might have seen this a lot more often. It makes me cheer and laugh and just have fun just to watch it. It's
It
a great
is.
thing.
It's a unique event, and a lot of people are like, "You really, seriously have chariot races here still?" So we do. So
And unfortunately, once in a while, you'll see a wreck,
yes,
and there's some folks injured, and every now and then an animal.
animal.
But it's a cool thing to watch, and we have some locals right here that participate and just do a tremendous job. I mean, a lot of the winners in the worlds are from right here in our own neighborhood. So it's a neat thing. All right, commissioners, would you like to move on this one?
Absolutely. I'll make a motion that we accept a contract by and between the Cutter and Chariot Association for the State Chariot Championships.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second before us. Any discussion to that motion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Just
It
one
passes.
second, Jennifer. Can you tell us a little bit about the numbers from the Hoff Festival?
well, yeah, we were up significantly. I think about 30% in attendance over the 2 nights. The Siegfried's Deli that provides the German food also reported numbers that represent almost 40 to 45% increase in his sales. So he was very satisfied with
They
that.
ran out of food, I hear.
They ran out a lot of their food.
So
their
my brother-in-law-
Wiener Schnitzel and
My brother-in-law and father-in-law went on mission there, and they came for the Wiener Schnitzel, and they ran out. So
yeah, he ran out of that Saturday
amazing.
afternoon or late afternoon, early evening. But yeah, and then I can't think of the name of the loaf that he fixes. That they ran out of that. So he had brats and salads he had brats and salads to the very end. But so we were keeping people fed. But
the thing that's nice about that project is that's one of our projects, so we don't have to worry about them leaving and going to another event and that. So let your staff know. I think Jim Harvey helps put a lot of that together, how great they did on that. And we've come a long way out there. So I appreciate what you guys do with that, and it's turned into one of our big events out there. So
Yeah, I will.
appreciate that. Let your staff know they did a great job out there. So
I will. And our staff does a great job, but again, it goes back to a lot of volunteers in the community
Right.
that, I mean, you know, our staff did do great and they're paid to be there, but those
Right.
ones that are there on volunteer and offering their homes up for these entertainers and these other German delegates to stay in, those are the people that make it happen. So,
right. Well, and we have hundreds, if not thousands, of volunteer hours that come out of there, and in other spots of our county. I know our sheriff, I saw him here, has a lot of volunteers that donate their time with the sheriff's office out at our gun range, search and rescue, and so it's an amazing part of volunteers. If it wasn't for volunteers, the counties could never afford to do all these projects
Right.
because of that. So
that's right.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's all I've got on that.
I was just thoroughly amazed with the band. And
Yeah.
it was something else.
It was fun.
What are those big long horns called that they're like 20 feet long. They stick out clear to the bottom and they move those things around. You remember what they're called?
I can't remember what they're called, but they're amazing. They're called the Big Longhorn.
It's not the way I remember a longhorn looking, but anyway. All right, thanks, Jennifer. Appreciate you being here. And Dana, if you'll come on up, we'll start with you and begin with this request for approval of a memorandum of understanding by and between Weber County and the Summit Mountain Holding Group to allow Summit to supplement county snow removal at their own expense.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So this is a kind of a renewal of last year's agreement where if Summit chooses to contract with our contractor to provide a higher level of service than what the county can provide, then they were covered liability-wise and such.
Okay.
Oh,
So, I heard we got a snow blower up there and did a little snow blowing over the week ago. You probably aren't aware of that, or
I know that we had loaders up there, but I don't know about the snow blower.
well, anyway, apparently there was a lot of snow to move. So I see some guys from Powder Mountain. Apparently you got a bunch of snow up there, so that's good.
That's one of those things that we have been hoping for, but then we do
Yes.
have to get it off the road.
Yes.
So it's been great. So no, this contract looks good. I've looked through and it's the same as we've done in the past. So
Yes.
Okay, would you like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the MOU by and between Weber County and the Summit Mountain Holding Group to allow Summit to supplement county snow removal at their own expense.
I second it.
Okay, motion and a second to approve this contract as stated. Is there any further discussion? Having no further discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes. Okay, item number 5, Dana, is the request for approval of a cooperative agreement by and between Weber County and the Utah Department of Transportation for snow removal services.
Again, this is a renewal from last year, where they have UDOT has a snow blower that they, when we call them, they can get out there and help us get the snow over the guardrails and over the high banks. It is conditioned that they have first use of it, and then they'll get to us when they can. I believe we did have a call into them on Saturday morning. So hopefully they got out there. Maybe
Yeah.
that's the snow blower.
Well, we actually leased one and used it up there because we needed to do 2 projects. We did that, and we found over at Causey, the snow is so deep up there and it's such a narrow causeway, we didn't have anywhere else to put snow, and so they were gonna get up on Causey and remove some snow and then use it up there too. I think for a week, at least for a week, the operations did, so.
Oh, great.
But yeah, the state's been great. This is a great contract. We've had it with the state before. The state is such a great partner with Weber County and us with them. And so it's the state road up there to Powder Mountain, and then all the roads up on top of the mountain are all county. So it's been a great partnership. So I would definitely recommend we continue working with the state on this. So I'll make a motion unless you would like to, Commissioner Ebert.
Sir.
I don't mean to take all the motions from you, but I'll make a motion that we continue with a contract with Weber County, Utah Department of Transportation for snow removal services. So,
Second.
Okay, motion and a second then before us. Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? It's unanimous. Okay, item number 6.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Dana.
Dana. Jared, if you'll come on up. This is a request for approval of contract by and between Weber County and CRS Engineers for construction management on the 12th Street Road widening project. Jared?
As we start moving forward with these roadway projects for the funds that we receive through WACOG, we're going to have construction management and then also the contractor. So the next two, this one and the next, is for construction management services. I don't know if you've got any questions on this. On 12th Street, we should get the documents in for the contractor and get that contract coming up soon. And this is for construction management services for 12th Street.
When does this begin, Jared?
As soon as we get the documents from the contractor, we've kind of give them to go ahead on when they want to get started. So it's a kind of a tricky question, but we've got Questar currently working on 12th Street. Rocky Mountain Power has informed us today that they'll get going on the 22nd of February. So they'll get out there then, and then we'll tell the contractor, we've got these going on right now, but if you want to get in and get started on any utility work, you can go ahead and do that with coordination with those two entities. So technically, we've kind of said 1st of March or first, around in that area when it gets warm enough. But when they get started, they'll get started when they tell us they need to get out there and get going. So we'll leave that up to the contractor.
So I think that it needs to be noted in item number 7, because you're kind of putting all three of these in one. But item number 7 was Skyline Drive, that these, our projects have been coming in under bid, correct?
Yes.
And so out on Skyline Drive, there's been a drainage and a water issue out there on, it's not Mustang Lake, that's what it was when I was a kid, when it used to flood out there by UN Elementary.
Eastwood Boulevard.
Eastwood Boulevard. And we have enough money in the contract that we're able to fix these little flooding problems where some of these homes are there, where there hasn't been flooding lately, but it's been kind of close. And so we're able to fix some of these problems because the bidding has been so favorable with oil prices as low as they are. Asphalt work's been coming in pretty good, and so we're able to do some more on that project. We're able to do everything on that project we wanted now. Is that not correct? On Skyline?
Well, we had
Almost.
almost. The last two alternates, I don't think, or additives, we're not going to be able to get to. But we've most of it we've been able to get it under contract. So.
And so that's great. I think that our contracts have been coming in, and so it's been a great project, and I appreciate your work on that, and we look forward to getting that roundabout in. Will that be the first roundabout in Weber County?
Unincorporated,
Unincorporated?
I believe so.
Wow, cool. Thank you. It's going to be great.
Jared, really quick, specifically on our 12th Street project, we had maybe some communication at the very beginning that wasn't flowing back and forth. With upcoming utility and construction starting and moving forward, what are we doing to improve those communication lines?
That's a good question. So under the contract with CRS, we have a PI group that's working closely with our public affairs director, Holland Wilbanks. Frontline is their name. And so we've got them on board. We're now sending out weekly updates of what's happened previously the week before, what's going to happen the week ahead, and then any concerns that have come up. There was, just different concerns from residents that we catch during the week, and then we address that in a weekly email. So we're trying to keep that communication as open as possible, and got a website that they can get onto when they need to. So we've now got that up and running. So I hope that'll be a good thing for the residents to be able to keep informed.
Thank you. It makes them feel like we're responsive to some of their initial concerns, so that's a great step in moving that forward.
Yeah.
Okay. Any motion on this one then, commissioners?
I'll make a motion that we accept the contract between Weber County, I can do all three of these, can't we? Or 5, 6, and 7, that we do a contract between Weber County and CRS.
You probably just want to do it separate. So just do
Okay.
6 now, and then we'll do 7.
Okay, number 6.
Okay, motion and second on this contract. Item number 6 on our agenda, discussion. Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? It passes. Item number 7 is the same thing with the same group on the Skyline Drive project. Anything specific to that particular project that you'd like to communicate with? Commissioners, okay. Motion then?
I'll make a motion we accept the contract between Weber County and CRS for the Skyline Drive project.
Second.
Okay, discussion. Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? It passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
The 3500 West We don't have that one yet?
Not yet, but it'll be coming up.
Okay, but it was bid?
3500 West, we actually received the contracting bids tomorrow. So
Okay.
we'll know who's going to be low bidder anyways.
On
and
the
gotta-
contractor?
on the
but-
contractor.
But did we bid?
Oh,
the-
sorry, for construction
Construction
management,
management?
yes, Stanley got that, and we've got to get that contract in place, and hopefully by next week we'll get that
Okay,
on the agenda.
great. Sounds good. Thank you, Jared.
Thank you.
All right. Item number 8 is a request for consideration and action on a final plat approval of Summit Eden Phase 1D, including Amendment 1, including a subdivision improvement agreement, which includes a financial guarantee. And Rhonda Kippen from our planning division will present this. And before you start, Rhonda, I have to point out and embarrass you a little bit, but we get, from time to time when we get positive comments on our staff, I like to make sure and point it out so that they know how much we appreciate them. And we had a kind email that was sent to us this last week, complimenting you on the efforts that you're making down in our division and the helpful nature that you have and the willingness that you have to serve the public. And so we passed that around a little bit, and we all got to chime in on how much we appreciate the good work you're doing. But we wanted to tell you thank you, let you know how much that means to us as we try so hard to have a good attitude of customer service in these departments. That means an awful lot to us. Congratulations and thank you.
Well, thank you. It's an honor to work here, work for you guys, and to be here with you this morning. So good morning.
Good morning.
Just one comment. The guys from Morgan County are still mad at us for taking you here. And our last planner we picked up came from Ogden City, and now they won't talk to us anymore. So we've got to start being a little more careful because we have to meet with these people regularly.
We're okay with it. We're after the very best
I'm
people.
fine with
And
it.
we take the best, but just so you know, we're getting still
We'll take
beat
the
up.
heat.
But
Yeah.
we are so glad to have you here.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I probably am going to try to kind of combine all three of these items as far as a description as what's going on so that it kind of makes a little bit more sense. We kind of are pulling off a perfect storm here. We got a phone call earlier, actually it was the very end of December, that we needed to move forward with the Village Nest that was actually approved back in 2014. However, in order to do that, we needed to get the Phase 1D approved for the amendment and reallocate some funds. And so we did have on our books the Summit Eden Phase 1D Amendment 1 that was actually eliminating 20 lots to create 4 development parcels. Inside of these development parcels, we can see many different things. We can see either some ridge nest developments with a PRUD. We can see a commercial development in there that would just maybe be a condominium plat or something a little bit more along the lines of a hotel or something like that. So when we got the call, we kind of had to ramp up everything, and we really do have an amazing staff because we involved, I think, 3 attorneys, the engineering division, the surveying division, and our office, and it was a really amazing experience to be able to work alongside of all these people and get this pulled off in a timely manner, I hope, for the applicant. So Phase 1D, like I said, we're eliminating 20 lots and creating 4 development parcels. One of those development parcels is where the originally approved Summit Eden Village Nest condominium plat was going to be. The applicant has decided to actually change the name just to Village Nest at Powder Mountain. So Phase 1D with the amendment, we are removing a private drive or a private road inside of Phase 1D. Inside that private road, however, has public utility easements. So because of what could go in that development parcel, we are going through the vacating process with a separate ordinance to actually eliminate all public interests within that private road. I do have written approval from the utility providers saying that they are okay, and there will be some termination agreements that will be recorded privately in addition to the plat and the ordinance. So hopefully that kind of ties together these 3 items and how they actually had all come together at the same time. So Phase 1D initially had a escrow account of $672,563.60. Due to the amendment, we are actually reducing that to $390,804.60. Engineering has had the ability to look through the cost estimates and the construction drawings and has approved this amount. And we do have the subdivision improvement agreement signed by the applicant and is ready for your signature on Phase 1D. On Village Nests, we are taking, there was actually an overage in that bucket that we had for Summit that initially started at $216,326.36. Based on the amendment with Phase 1D, we were able to reallocate $281,759 to the Village Nests, basically zeroing out that cash in lieu of bond escrow agreement that we had with Summit, and doing a final financial agreement for Village Nests at Powder Mountain in the amount of $498,085.36. And so each one of these I've got as separate exhibits in each one of your packets and kind of tied them all together. Phase 1D is Exhibit A, and the proposed Phase 1D is in Exhibit A in your packet, and the original recorded one is actually identified as Exhibit D. And then in Village Nests, on page 5 through 8 this is actually a condominium plat. So there will be parking in some of the individual units to serve some of the back condominium units, as well as 2 parking garages there along, I want to say it is Meridian Drive, or Daybreak Drive. Sorry, I apologize, Daybreak Drive. So that is kind of how all 3 of these are working together.
Okay. An awful lot to digest.
I know. So it did, the Planning Commission recommended approval based on the conditions that are on page 3. We have actually, as the Planning Division staff, added one additional condition that all vacating and terminating documents pertaining to the private easements and private roadway identified as Rolling Drive must be recorded prior to recording the new subdivision amendment. And with Village Nests, we are forwarding positive approval from the Planning Commission, as well as one additional condition that was requested by the County Engineering Division, that prior to the commencement of work for the Village Nest, a hillside review will be required if deemed necessary by the applicable review agencies. There is some slopes on this area, and we just want to make sure that we're going to be dealing with some stable conditions before we move forward with building permits.
Wonderful. Any other questions from the commission on this for Rhonda?
Well, I think that, believe it or not, I have something to say on it. So as I've been looking through this, and I know you guys have been working on this for a while, I appreciate all the work. I appreciate the Planning Commission. They voted on it. They're good with it. Staff has looked it over. It's good with it, and it's our property owner that's petitioned for it. So I think it's a great project, and I appreciate all the work that's been done on it, because I know we get it after you guys have been sweating over it, tears over it for months, if not longer, and then we get it in 3 seconds. We talk about it and either pass it or don't, and then move it on. So I appreciate the work that's been done on that. So it looks really good.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion if you want.
Okay, we probably should, even though they were presented kind of together, we should probably take these individually. So we'll take a motion on item number 8.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve the final plat approval of Summit Eden Phase 1D Amendment 1, including a subdivision improvement agreement, which includes a financial guarantee.
Okay, perfect. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, discussion to that motion. Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, it passes. And item number 9. motion?
Mr. Ebert, you want me to do that, or?
I'll make a motion. Sorry. I'll make a motion that we consider action for the final plat approval of the Village Nest at Powder Mountain, including subdivision improvement agreement, which includes a financial guarantee.
Okay, second?
I second it.
Okay, any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes. Okay, now we just need a motion to adjourn the public meeting and convene a public hearing.
So moved.
So moved.
Okay, motion and a second. Discussion to that. Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? It passes. Okay, so we're to item number 2, which we've, what else, have you got anything else you want to share with us on that?
I have not received any complaints, any responses at all to the notice of the public hearing. And again, I reached out to the private utility providers and received the positive comments saying they did not have a problem with that. Our engineering division is working on doing a termination agreement for the water and sewer pertaining to the Powder Mountain Water and Sewer District. And that has been being worked on with our county attorney's office also. And so it's pretty simple
Move
on
along
that one.
smoothly. Okay. All right, well, let's go to the public then. If there is anyone here who would like to comment, we haven't received any comments into the planning division, so if there are anyone here now that would like to comment, now would be the time. Comment on this topic. Okay, I see none, so we'll move on to item number 3, which is that we need a motion to adjourn the public hearing and reconvene the public meeting.
I'll make a motion, we reconvene the public hearing, the public meeting.
Second, motion and a second to adjourn this public hearing and reconvene the public meeting. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes. We're back in our public meeting, and we have the opportunity to take action on the public hearing.
That will be ordinance number 2.
Ordinance number 2.
I'll make a motion. Make a motion, we adopt ordinance number 2 to vacate a public utility easement in Rolling Drive, a dedicated private street and public utility easement located along the southernmost subdivision boundary line adjacent to Lot 107 in the Summit Eden Phase 1D subdivision.
Can I get a second on that?
I second that.
Okay, discussion to the motion. Seeing none, roll call vote.
Commissioner Ebert,
Aye.
Commissioner Bell,
Aye.
Chair Gibson.
Aye. The motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Fatima, for the roll call. We'll move to item H, and thank you, Rhonda, for that presentation. Appreciate all the work that goes into those. We, sometimes they seem simple by the time they get to here. And and hold that up. That's quite a folder. Okay, so we're to our last couple items on the agenda. First is our public comment. Is there anyone here from the public who would like to comment today? This could be on any topic you'd like. This is not stuck to what we had the public hearing on. This is more broad. Okay, do not see any public comment today. So we'll assign our Pledge of Allegiance for Tuesday, February 9th at 10 a.m. Anybody like to volunteer out there? How about
Marty's thinking about it.
Marty's thinking about it?
to volunteer?
Well, it's either volunteer or take your chances. Marty, would you be happy? Would you do it for us? Be happy to do it for us? All right, that's what I thought. Okay, Marty will do our Pledge of Allegiance, or excuse me, yes, our Pledge of Allegiance, and we'll move to our final item.
Can I make a quick comment before we step out?
Absolutely.
We're in the middle of our legislative process. We have 3 weeks left. There are multiple bills out there on marijuana, JRI.
Wait,
We're just starting week 2,
Week 2.
so there's still 4 or 5.
4 or 5 weeks. But there's a lot of things that are being discussed and looked at.
You're in a hurry, Commissioner.
And I would really encourage you to go on to the Utah State Legislature website, read through it, look through it, understand what's being proposed, and be involved in the process. It's extremely important. If you don't get involved, then what happens is special interest groups who are pushing items, bills, funding, moves through. So I would encourage you to visit the website or even go down to the Hill and spend some time there. Reach out to your representatives and your senators and be really involved in this process. This is my second year. It's overwhelming, but it's very informative and it's extremely important. So from the new guy here with the Wiley veterans, I'm just going to really encourage you to get involved because citizens can make a difference.
Was that meant to be a compliment, Commissioner?
Widely, not gray.
I think we just have to stick with it and whatever he said over there. But no, it's a great process. There's so many cool things going on down there. There's a lot of great education initiatives that, as a commission, we've got a little involved in that most commissions haven't in the past. But if we don't educate our folks here, we can't bring other businesses in here, and people aren't going to want to live here. And so it's been an interesting the last couple of years around here. So.
You know, maybe if you're interested, maybe Commissioner Gibson could give us a weekly update of some of the things we've ran into at the legislature to make you more aware, kind of give you a little uptick of our weekly events as far as what we've seen and what we're concerned about or upcoming legislation. Maybe that would be helpful also.
Probably not a bad idea.
Thanks for the assignment. I'll take that.
I second on that assignment. Oh, we can't
It's-
on the agenda.
It's a cool, it's neat to see the process, and frankly, they do screw up sometimes down there. Don't get me wrong, but there's two things that make me smile. First of all, they have to pass a balanced budget. None of this stuff like the feds do, where we just spend into oblivion in perpetuity. And number two, you can count the days, and they're done after 45. So it's a sprint, and we need to be involved as much as we can. It's a little bit tough for us during this time of the year because we spend an awful lot of time down there working on issues, but we know that come the 10th of March, I think it is,
March 12th.
12th, something like that they're going to go home and make their businesses run, most of them, and that's one of the things that usually provides us a pretty good result, is these are part-time legislators who understand the real world and the economy by and large, because they're out there making those decisions on a day-to-day basis. So I think they definitely deserve our respect and appreciation, and we'll try to update you on some of the things we're working on next week. Okay? All right, final motion.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned. Thanks for being with us. Thank you.